Turbo weed.
Tyler, what are you sipping on?
LaCroix.
Well, we got reached out by this company last week,
Oh,
and
yeah?
it's a good one.
What do you have?
We have Celsius Live Fit, Live Well,
Whoa.
Blue Crush Celsius Essentials, and these are their new items, their new products that they sent over for us. They actually signed a deal with it. I never told you about it, but they signed a deal with us. It's $400,000, but in exchange, we have to say live fit, live well 9 times throughout the episode, and 100 times throughout the week on our own time.
Okay, that's fine. I
Live
can do that.
fit,
Yeah.
live well.
Live fit, live
That's
well.
3 times now.
And we have to get to 9.
9 this episode.
Okay, so we're almost there.
Live fit, live well. We have Dragonberry here. And now what's different about the Celsius Live Fit, Live Well can here, this is the bigger can than they usually have 12 ounce. This is going to upgrade you to the 16 ounce of 473 milliliter. And there's actually more energy in these. If you'll flip the can around,
Let's see what we get.
flip the can around, you'll see we have, that's interesting, 300 micrograms of biotin. And looks like that's about it. And 270 milligrams of caffeine,
Okay.
which is a pretty high dose. That's a pre-workout type dose. I'm glad they reached out to us at the beginning of the week, because I've been wanting them to move from the white girl drink to
To the man drink.
to the man drink to the pre-workout side, because Celsius, they're kind of a frou-frou. I mean, live fit, live well.
Yeah.
But they're kind of a white girl energy drink.
They're kind of good, though.
And the boys kind of drink Red Bulls. That's what they say. The boys drink Red Bulls, but Red Bull sucks now. Live fit, live well, Celsius, and Dragonberry. And I'm gonna I'll do a little sip test for you guys here. Live fit, live well. That's 7 times now.
Let me try that sucker out. Oh, that is fit and well.
Dude, that sucks.
I'll crack this one open, but I will not drink the whole thing.
You won't?
I can't. I will be up until...
It's a different type of caffeine now. This is the green tea caffeine.
Is it really?
It's a Celsius proprietary Meta Plus formula, including green tea and EGCG, ginger, and guarana seed. Turns on your thermogenesis that boosts your body's metabolic rate. So,
Try that sucker out. Try it out.
All right, let's try this out. This is the blue raspberry. It says sparkling blue raspberry on top. This is interesting. Sparkling blue raspberry on top, and Blue Crush is the flavor.
Oh, so it's 2 different flavors in one.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And that's how you can live fit and well. What do you think about that? How are you feeling about that flavor?
I think we may have just lost our sponsorship. These both are just terrible. And live fit, live well. We just hit our 9, and that's all. I assume after this episode airs, they're gonna pull the plug, but I think we got to go back to Red Bull, the man's drink.
I guess so.
Not
Red Bull,
bad,
the good thing about Red Bull is that they modeled the unique flavor profile of gasoline. And I think it just it really gets me going. It fires me up.
Well,
I feel like
you see any extreme sport, and Red Bull has their hands in it. And
this one.
and they just have the high octane flavor profile. While the Celsius is giving me white girl tears. That should be the
White girl tears.
white girl
the
tears.
flavor.
That should be the flavor, because I've been soaking those bad boys up like nobody's business. I know what those suckers taste like. Let me do a combo here.
You gonna mix them up? Mix and match? Now tell us how that is going down. The mix and match. 2 different Celsius flavors. This is riveting content too.
That was even worse than the single flavors. That was really, really
I
bad.
feel like those flavors don't combine. Let me try it.
He's going in the Blue Crush and then the Dragon. Yeah, let's see his review.
Yeah, it tastes like one time in kindergarten.
What?
I had a friend.
Kindergarten?
Yeah. One time when I was in kindergarten, this guy
Disregard that.
he gave me an apple, like a sour apple lollipop from his backpack, and it was he told me it was a new lollipop, but I think he had started it a couple different days, tried to start it, didn't like it, and gave it to me. And it was very gross. That's exactly what that just tasted like.
That's interesting. But yeah, live fit, live well. And actually, they're not that bad. In all honesty, they're pretty good for an energy drink with that much potency in them. I'm going to the gym after this, so I decided I wanted to have one. And Celsius sent us a bunch over, so I decided.
Yeah, they did send us some. I have some more of this blue raspberry down the hatch, shall we? It's not getting any better. It's not getting any better. I washed it down with some delicious LaCroix.
Also a sponsor. Thank you very much. We actually, the funny thing about our podcast is we only take drink sponsors. And we used to have Bud Light, and then
Bud Light was our first sponsor, and then
the DM Dylan Mold check took our sponsorship away, and they sent us a Clydesdale instead. They started sending us Clydesdales instead of the of the drink, and they started dying on transportation over here, and so we were just getting dead Clydesdales.
We didn't get to see a single living Clydesdale. They sent us 46 Clydesdales, and they kept saying, we're going to have somebody sign for delivery. We're going to have a contactless delivery. And they just kept saying they were doing different types of delivery, but every time the horse was dead. And we were like, no, the problem isn't like the type of delivery. We want it to be alive. It's very sad. It's very sad to receive a dead horse in the mail.
It's extremely sad, and it's extremely inconvenient trying to get rid of a 1,500-pound animal.
We had the sheriff come over, and they were like,
the dump doesn't take it.
You're burning. Why are you burning so many horses in your backyard? What's going on? PETA actually reached out to us, and thanks for our new sponsor, PETA, which stands for PETA, and PETA actually, the first letter stands for PETA, the rest of the letters don't stand for anything. And they are kind of one of our new sponsors. They told us that we had to say live well, live strong.
So as our views decline on the podcast, actually our sponsors are getting even more high end, which is very interesting. But
because it's exclusive, that's what it is. It's exclusive advertising. That's how we brand it to our potential advertisers. Is the less people who watch, the more exclusive it is. And so you're getting this message out to just a fine, perfectly selected few.
Yeah, and we'd just like to say thank you and live fit, live well. We went through Bud Light, and they dropped us because we kept burning the horses in our backyard. We sent them videos because we sent them videos of these dead Clydesdales, and we're trying to hook them up to my dad's mower to drag them over to the fire pit, and they are just not doing well.
Yeah, we told them we were getting dead Clydesdales. They didn't believe us for a while. They thought we were just trying to scam them and get as many Clydesdales as possible, but all in all, it was a very sad situation, and so that's actually the reason that we don't work with Bud Light anymore. It actually has nothing to do with any of the controversy. It's really just the Clydesdale issue.
And then I just looked at my phone just now. We got a new sponsor, Geek Squad. Actually.
Geek Squad.
Geek Squad.
Go.
They watched our our previous podcast, and they were really fired up about the total takeover of Geek Squad, and they wanted to get in with us. So now we're sponsored by Geek Squad. They sent us 100 TV stands for no reason.
They sent us 100 TV stands, and they didn't send us any TVs. No. And actually, it's the European style mount size, so we can't even mount it to our TVs anymore.
They said they were going to send over a guy to install them, but we just still haven't seen the guy.
No, it keeps saying Trevor is approaching for your service.
We see his van go by,
And
and
he just drives
he
by.
just drives by and then drives right back by.
Yeah,
And
and then
it's
it
probably
clicks.
because the burning Clydesdale.
Yeah, and we're getting the your service has been completed notification, but it wasn't completed. I mean, we just have hundreds and hundreds of TV stands, and none of them are set up. They're all still in the boxes. We can't even. It's becoming kind of quite a problem.
These big name sponsors of ours are really becoming an issue. I feel like they're not caring as much. Sorry.
This is one of those things, you think that once you reach success, you're going to have all of these, you're going to be so excited about all these free things you get, but really it's more of a burden. When as we reach greater and greater success with this podcast and these companies start sending us hundreds of dead horses, hundreds of TV stands,
You should see our yard.
it doesn't seem like it seems like something that would be so fun, but yeah, and we're trying to see if we can't kind of combine them into something, but you can't. We tried everything. We've kind of we got a whole whiteboard and couldn't figure out any way to combine TV stand, dead horses. It seems like a match made in heaven, but it's not. There's no way to combine them.
So that's our sponsorship for today. Live Fit, Live Well, Geek Squad. I'm here to. They said, what they told me to say. They said, I'm gonna geek it out today.
Yeah. Get ready to get geeked
Yep.
with Geek Squad, and you can go to your local Best Buy, and just tell them you need some geeks.
Lock your doors.
Yeah.
Geek Squad.
Yeah, Geek Squad. Lock your doors.
Lock your doors. Don't allow the Geek Squad guy to come in after the sun has went down. Geek Squad.
That would be the craziest slogan of all time.
Something happens to the Geek Squad after the sun goes down, and we don't know what it is, but there's a lot of warnings in our contract. Don't let the Geek Squad guy in after dark.
It does say that explicitly. We're supposed to warn everybody. And also, From the Depot podcast and From the Depot Media Group are not responsible for anything that the Geek Squad guy does to you or your family.
I think that's the problem. He keeps showing up a little bit too late. The sun is almost down, and he just drives by, and he sees the sun down. And we tell him to go away. Get out of here, because we don't know what that means. It could be a werewolf type situation with the Geek Squad where he turns into the Devastator from Transformers, like I mentioned on last episodes, but I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out. Lock your doors, Geek Squad, Celsius, Live Fit, Live Well. Thank you to our sponsors. And now let's get into the episode.
Okay. So I'll say the first thing is I had a very tumultuous week due to trying to sell a motorcycle, and that just when I try and sell, it doesn't matter what it is. If I sell, if I know a sale's coming up, I get really anxious, very nervous, very stressed out for literally no reason. And I actually have a potential sale after this episode. Like right after we're done, I'll go try and sell, and I get so upset. It's a physical reaction that I have. I can't explain it.
You do get real upset, and I'm not entirely sure why. You have a thing of letting go of your belongings, and I'm sitting on the couch yesterday when the dude's about to come by your motorcycle, and you're just pacing around, and you're picking things up and then putting them down in different places, and you're flicking the...
You're right. I constantly am checking, and then...
goddamn dog. As I'm sitting on the couch, you're like, a car drives by, just one of the cars in our neighborhood.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it. I'm very stressed out. High stress situation. Once they get there, all the stress kind of goes away, but... sorry. But I'm getting a little worked up right now thinking about it.
It's a real gassy episode. I don't know why. Around 3 p.m. I get real gassy.
I had so much...
That's why I usually push the pod back a couple hours.
Yeah, I had so much bread last night. I can't even believe how much bread I ate last night.
You ate so much
bread.
And
it's been... My gut today has been... The amount of gas I've been producing is
it's in shambles.
So crazy.
And you ate the bread right as you were going to bed.
Yeah, it was a horrible idea.
It just rotted out in there.
It was a horrible idea. I couldn't believe how delicious it was. Bubs made sourdough bread by scratch.
By scratch,
and she made it from hand, and it's probably the best bread I had last night.
It's good. The homemade bread is really
I
good.
don't know what it is about it. It's fresh and warm,
Right
and
out of the-
delicious.
And I went to get a piece of it today, and it you can tell that bread is only gonna last like 5 days, 4 or 5 days.
Uh-huh.
Like it's starting to stale out even the day after.
Uh-huh.
So it kind of concerns me that these companies that we buy our bread from. I know it's not like the sourdough is a different process of making the bread, but the fact that the bread has like
It lasts so
a
long.
1 year expiration,
Yeah.
and you can open the bag of bread and seal it back up, and it's good for months.
Yeah.
And that kind of scares me a little bit.
Yeah, bread lasts way too long. It will mold up, but it takes a long time.
But I feel like it should be getting stale, like
Before it molds?
like chips or something.
Yeah.
It should be getting stale. And I don't know how they make it so fluffy and airy. This is all just a monstrous conspiracy that I've been coming up with for the past 30 seconds.
Well, I mean, everyone's eating all this gluten, and they're obliterating it with Roundup, and then turning it into this perma bread, and we're just eating it as if there's nothing wrong with it, nothing weird about it. We're ignoring the fact that it's so weird. We will trade so much for convenience. If our bread is more convenient, we won't even ask a single question.
We won't ask a single question. I bet you in 1,000 years, you know how they're finding those like shell fossils in the middle of the rocks nowadays?
Yeah.
I wouldn't I wouldn't bat an eye if they found a bag of Jiffy Lube inside. Jiffy Lube? Is that right? That's not right, but Jiffy Lube inside a rock.
Jiffy Lube inside a rock I don't think that's what you meant to say. I think you're meaning to say Sarah Ann's?
Pep Boys?
Sarah Ann's?
Valvoline?
Are you talking about oil or are you talking about bread?
I'm talking about bread.
Okay, I think it's called Sarah Ann's potato bread and white breads.
Is it Sarah Ann's? The one, Wonder Bread. I'm talking about Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
Wonder Bread.
I think we'll find little bits of Wonder Bread at the end times. It'll survive past everything. Well, we have this false choice. It's like, oh, you want to be healthy, you got to get this bread with whole grain or versus white bread. White bread's bad, but this whole grain bread is so good, but it still lasts forever, and it's made out of mostly foam.
And yeah, this grain, the grain, like, oh my God, the suburban moms are going crazy about the 21 grain bread. And I was just thinking, isn't normal bread made out of grain as well? Like wheat grain and everything? They're like chucking random seeds and dirt, I feel like, into this new bread.
It is like they take the mixture or the bread dough, and then they throw it in the yard. And then they pick it all, scoop it all back up,
Yep.
and then cook the bread. That's what it kind of seems like.
It's like they mulch a bunch of breads, and they mix some corn in there. They mix some what is the seeds of sunflower
oats
seeds
and kind of various oats. Yeah, they put it in there and they chop it all up, throw it in the yard, run it over with a lawnmower that collects it into a small bag, and then they let it sit in that bag while the yeast rises in the bread, and then they add the Roundup and all of the gluten intolerant materials in there, and then what they do is they cook it, and then they spray it with a light polyurethane to keep it from rotting, and then they put it in the stores.
Polyurethane. That is what they do. I mean, this is not a conspiracy, people.
This is real.
I think we've seen it firsthand. These people, oh my God. And Roundup is coming to its end. Did you know that?
Yeah, which is, I mean, it sounds like a good thing, but this is actually a double-edged sword, everybody, because that means that they're going to come up with something worse. That's what it means.
Like a double-edged chainsaw.
It's going to be, this is a double-edged knife right here, because they're going to come out with something worse than Roundup, which Roundup, glyphosate, whatever you want to call it, and I don't even know what you want to call it, but whatever you do, it's not good, and it's all over the plants. And it's horrible for people. It's horrible, and you're eating it every day. They're measuring people's blood, and they're finding traces of glyphosate in everybody's blood. And I mean, they're dumping this stuff out of planes, just all over the crops. They're just spraying the crops down.
Spraying it. They love it.
They're building. They're taking the DNA of the plants apart, and they're rewriting it so that they don't even care about getting covered in Roundup, so that it just kills all the weeds and not the corn and stuff. So, but then all the corn and all the wheat and stuff just covered in Roundup. We're eating it, and then we're like, oh, I don't know why I'm gluten intolerant now. It's like, well, all the gluten you've been eating for the past however long is covered in poison. So it's like, of course your body's gonna say, I don't think I like that stuff. I think we need to stop eating that stuff.
We need to stop eating that stuff. How I first found out about this was I was going out with this girl, and she worked in agriculture, and she was the one who was studying the plants, and she was saying that this year the plants, or the weeds, I guess, that the Roundup kills is getting resistant. And I was like, is that normal? And she said every 10 years they have to change the formula of Roundup because the plants and the weeds get resistant to, they pass down the gene of Roundup to their sons and daughters, these little plants, and all of a sudden it's resistant to this chemical. And so they were building this new chemical, and who the frick knows what it is? It's probably going to be the COVID-19 vaccine that they're spraying on these weeds now, and we're going to have the COVID-19 vaccine. I always do this to myself, by the way. I always dig myself into a hole that could put me on a watch list for something.
Yeah.
But I say it anyway.
They're just spraying.
They're spraying the Pfizer vaccine on all the plants now.
What if they did that and their plants just like instantly burned up and like died? Like, see, it's got many good uses.
The
safe
forest fires,
and effective.
The Hawaii forest fires were actually was the COVID-19, the airborne COVID-19 vaccine.
Well, yeah, if you give the COVID-19 vaccine to a Pacific Islander, he ignites
Immediately.
And that's what happened. They gave a couple of them the COVID-19 vaccine. They tricked them into getting it for their safety and effectivity, and they combusted. And it's super sad.
It is sad because I really I really like the Pacific Islanders because of their physique. Their physique is absolutely incredible.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you see The Rock. I think he is Pacific Islander. Jason Momoa, I don't know what he is, but he looks Pacific Islander.
I think they're both Honolulu.
And they just have I think they have great genetics because they're all on the same island. They're all doing each other. And so it's like the Amish, the genes stay close. And, there's just enough diversity so the autism doesn't come in.
Yeah, no, they've got enough people that it's not a problem, but you know that when they were first out there, it's probably a little bit of an issue, but they bred that one out.
And a phrase I've been kind of workshopping lately is full auto autism, and I think that's going to be the next variant of the next what's the gen after us? Gen A.
Yeah.
Gen A is going to be full auto autism, and I think that's going to become a normal term. I'm hoping I'm going to try to make it normal, because it's not semi-auto. You're not unsafe. It's not double action. It's not lever action. It's freaking full auto autism, and that's going to be my documentary.
Well, we have a lot of people saying they're autistic now that probably aren't. And so it's kind of diluting the word. So if you explain somebody as autistic, they just think it's like the quirky girl that lives next door who's like, I'm autistic and completely autistic. And they're just a normal person. And you're like, okay. But so now to explain somebody who's autistic, like non-functioning well, maybe non-verbal, maybe low functioning autism, there's no real good way to explain it anymore with just using regular verbiage. Actually the Board of Psychology, I think you've been in contact with them trying to get this approved as
I have, and I sent in the first one I sent in was full auto retard, and it got immediately batted down.
Yeah, that one
it got shot down.
That one got rejected. We have to wait another, I think, 5 to 10 years until that word comes back because,
it's coming back though.
That was the official word for a while, and so we thought, well, now it's starting to get offensive. Like people are calling each other autistic as an insult, which of course we wouldn't do. But we're trying to bring back the word retard as not a derogatory term, but somewhat more of an official term,
a medical term. And I like how they take one word away from us, and we just can craft these new words. Like I've been calling people specters for spectrums.
Mm-hmm.
The autist. That's a new one. That you're an autist, whatever, you have autism. But at the heart, I think the least derogatory term would be retard. I'm starting to sound like James. From Love on the Spectrum.
I think it would be the least derogatory. I mean, I can't say if I had autism all the way. I can't say exactly what I would want to be called because, I just wouldn't know. But I think that it would be really good to kind of get a new word in the.
Well, it's because so many people think that they have autism or they claim to be autistic that now we're calling everyone autistic and an autist and a specter and a spectrum runner or whatever or a blade specter whatever you want and there's almost no retards anymore and so it's hard to say. It's really hard to say
where that line is.
Where the line is, but almost no one is a retard now because everyone's autistic. So it's almost not derogatory to say retard because there is no retards. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Everything in this universe likes to find a balance. That's the law of large numbers. That's the homeostasis. So what we're kind of positing here is that there aren't enough retards. Too many autistic. So we're just trying to bring that balance back, and that's all we're saying. So no need to shadow ban us for this opinion, even though we already are.
Okay, guys. We are seriously shadow banned. And thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our sponsors today. Now let's start the show.
Live fit, live long. And so what I would say is, I was thinking about this, about how we shadow banned ourselves before we gained really any sizable amount of audience. And thank you to the few that brave that listen, but there's not that many of you, which is a good thing. That's what I was saying earlier. You kind of selected for the most outstanding people who can fight the shadow ban and find us on the internet. But I was thinking that it's actually kind of more of an honor to be shadow banned with a low audience count.
I know
than it is to have a medium audience. It's an honor that YouTube found us already and shut us down. It's an honor. Thanks to the executives at YouTube for your diligent work at finding people who say funny things and getting them. Shadow banned. Ew, did you just gas out, dude? That smells so bad.
I think that was the smell of the sponsor of our episode, Live Fit, Live Well, Celsius Blue Crush. But it was it's funny because we were at the beginning, or not at the beginning, even we can go back to episode 50, say 16 weeks ago, and look, and we were really gaining subscribers and gaining traction, and then all of a sudden we just have really fallen off, and we can only we won't blame ourselves. We're gonna only blame YouTube for the shadow ban because we can't it's not us.
We've run the numbers. It can't be us.
It can't be. They're not putting our videos or shorts or anything out into people's eyeballs anymore, and it's really discouraging. But the funny thing about us is that we can't get discouraged.
No, I think we're a little bit broken in that we don't really care.
No, we don't care at all because we've never had a big audience at all. So it's kind of funny, like, to shadow ban someone so small that we're like, we're gonna do it anyway, whether 0 people are listening or not.
Oh, I think that we could go. I think if 0 people played the podcast each time, but it was definitely like posted to YouTube and we were getting 0 plays, maybe 2 or 3 plays, I would not stop.
Yeah,
I would keep putting out episodes.
We're headed to Rumble, boys.
Yeah, soon we're gonna be on Rumble. So yeah, go ahead and
We're gonna make our own YouTube. I know it's been done before, like Rumble and whatever, but we're gonna make the FTD Media Group, and we're gonna bring out some big names. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, we're basically going to convert everyone into. We're gonna try and cancel the entire world. That's kind of our goal. Is you can't cancel everybody. So if we catch everybody saying a cancelable offense, then we get rid of the whole problem.
We do it. Yeah, if you cancel the whole world, you cancel no one.
It cancels out literally.
Literally cancels out.
So we're going for, that's what we're calling it too. We're calling it the Great Cancel Out, and that's what we're calling for. Is we need everyone, and everyone can be part of this. Take a video of your friend, get them drunk, convince them to say something they're not supposed to say, post it. Okay, we want to get everybody canceled as fast as possible. We're gonna just flood the internet with everybody getting canceled. Just everyone we could possibly get canceled. If there's an old video of one of your favorite celebrities getting canceled that everyone's forgotten about, make sure you bring that back up. We're going to need to go and retweet some of this stuff from, 10, 15 years ago. We want to bring up everybody who's ever been canceled, and we want to keep adding to the amount of people that have been canceled. And I mean, that's really why we started this podcast in the first place is we've canceled ourselves, I'm going to say like 3,000 times. I mean, we literally shadow banned on YouTube.
How many episodes do we have?
69. This is actually episode 69.
69. This is just for you guys. 69. That is the position in which we're in, and it's good. It's been good.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't been. I mean, if you look at some of our stuff, like let's go to this last episode, and I look at analytics. 1.8 thousand impressions. That means that 1.8 thousand people saw this video, and we got 61 views, which is pretty normal. That's 2.5% impressions click-through rate.
Nice.
When I post a video to my other channel, it gets like hundreds of thousands of impressions.
Good woods.
This one, 1.8 thousand, sounds like a lot of people, but it's like actually totally not.
Good woods. And
look, it's going on one person's screen a day, pretty much.
Hey,
well,
guys,
more than that, but
guys, we are a clean podcast. We keep it clean. There's, it's clean. We are in the realm of little children, and we know what it's like to be little children. So we keep it clean on here. So I don't see what the deal is. It's starting to tick me off. Let's see.
The last video I posted to my YouTube channel got 35.9 thousand impressions, and they shut that one off too.
That's so.
They closed the faucet on me.
That's so many more. I love when they just close the faucet. It's unbelievable. If you guys could see this analytic chart, it skyrockets and then it just flatlines.
Yeah, and they all do that. They pretty much all do that. Like this one was a little different actually. That one, well, it did the same thing, but that was back.
It was a smoother arc.
Yeah, but you can see over here if you, it did it.
Yep.
It did it. Shut off.
Yep.
I'll talk about this. Hydration. This episode is brought to you by hydration. Today I woke up severely dehydrated. And I poured some water in. I was drinking some water, but it was only a couple sips. And then I had a bunch of coffee, which I felt was a good substitute. It's not. Okay, I was so thirsty. I got to the gym today, And I was like, oh, I'm gonna get such a good workout in into my leg and the other leg, and I'm gonna keep working out until I get sore. So what I did is I get on the treadmill and I start running, and the front of my leg, my shin,
Your tibia,
it's my shin muscle. I don't know what you'd call that.
fibia.
It's a muscle though. Whatever that real thin muscle is that kind of goes over. It's like the front of your calf. I don't know what that muscle is. Maybe it is your calf. But it kind of curls around, and it was feeling so weird. I was running. I felt like my front of my leg was falling asleep. And but I was just going for a mile. I wasn't even running that hard, but I was kind of, just like my body was feeling very dehydrated. And so I get done with the mile, and I like feel my leg, and it feels crazy. It's like the front of my leg is like flexing itself and kind of cramping up a little bit. And I'm walking around, and it feels so weird. I've never had this kind of happen to me before. And I started just chugging water, just as much water as I could chug. I must have drank 12 ounces of water. And I had, so then I started doing some other lifts. I was doing some squats. I was squatting a lot, and then I started to actually feel better once I started squatting because it was making me more thirsty. I was drinking more water, and then I got pretty much done with the gym experience there. Went home, and I felt my arm started twitching, my whole entire arm. It's actually still kind of doing it a little bit. So that's kind of where we land as far as how what happens when you don't hydrate.
Yeah, the Sunday evening booze cruise will get you.
The Sunday evening booze cruise cleared almost all of the moisture from my body. But it was St. Patrick's Day, which was very exciting for me because
St. Patty, he'll freaking get you.
He did.
I swear to God, I wouldn't let him get to me. I knew the consequences of St. Patty, and I said no. I said no to him.
Well, it kind of like you don't properly do St. Patrick's Day unless you turn yourself green. And the amount of booze you need to drink to turn yourself green is no laughing matter.
No, it is not.
I tell you what, I drank more than 12 ounces of alcohol.
Yeah, I saw it this morning. All the beer bottles were out and about.
Yeah, spread far and wide.
And they're on your nightstand. And
oh, they were everywhere. They were everywhere. I can't believe how many beers I can drink when it is St. Patrick's Day.
So we'll wait till next year. Next year will be a good one, let me tell you what.
Yeah, so today I was just pretty much focused on rehydrating my body and working on my leg and, like I said, and my other leg.
I'm going after this, so I'll let you guys know as soon as I get back what went down. What went down? I got a new basketball, $100 basketball.
Yeah, okay, here, listen to this, guys. Gus comes back with a basketball, which is I think that's a normal thing for a guy to do, come around with a basketball. But he asks us, he's like, how much do you think we spent, or I spent on this basketball? And I'm thinking, maybe like 20 to, like, at the very most, like maybe $60, and he's like, well, there was an $80 one. We're like, no way you spent $80 on a basketball. And he's like, but I didn't like the $80 one enough, so I bought this $100 one. That is the actual basketball they use in the NCAA, and it's the official game ball.
It's the Wilson Evolution NXT, and it is a brilliant basketball. And I got it because
so retarded.
So I gotta explain myself on this one. You can't just slander me.
Okay.
You can't slander me. Okay.
Well, go ahead.
So
let the audience decide.
I was in shambles from my dentist, and I was just having a bad day. My front tooth was all loose, and I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." And I had a bunch of time to spare between the oral surgeon and the dentist, so after I left the oral surgeon, I had about 2 hours, so I went to Dick's Sporting Goods. I called my mom. I said, I'm going to buy a basketball. And she said, that will be good for you. Because every time I get a basketball at the gym, they have basketballs there for you to play with. but you have to trade in your keys. And sometimes the ladies there give me a stinky look when I trade in my keys. I'm like, could I get a basketball? And they're like, could I get your keys? They give me stinky looks. And it's not cool. It's not cool at all. So I was thinking about that, and I was in shambles from the dental experience. And so I went into Dick's, and I was looking at the basketballs, and they have 3 tiers of basketballs. They have the shoddy outdoor basketballs, just god awful basketballs. I can't even believe that they build them in a factory. They're for the poors. I'll say that straight up, for the poors. Then they have your level tier indoor basketball. It's the Wilson Evolution, just the Evolution, and it's a composite leather outer. And it's a little bit on the slippery side until you break it in. But breaking it in is a long process with those Evolutions, because they've had a couple new Evolutions at the gym before. And it takes, with everyone playing with the ball all day pretty much, it takes months to get it to like a nice tacky feel. And then they had the Tier 1, which was, and that one was $80. The normal one is $80 that the gym buys, that pretty much everybody uses. And then they have the Evo NXT, which is the NCAA ball, the official ball. It's the Evolution with the tack on the outside standard, so you don't have to break it in. And my hands are sweaty when I play basketball. I don't know why, but they get real sweaty when I play basketball. And I always end up kind of slipping on my shot occasionally with the regular Evolution. So I bounced it around Dick's for a while, and I'm like, God, I think I got to get this ball. And I ended up getting the ball because I was feeling really bad, and I was like, I need a treat, and I wasn't going to eat anything because I was not in a good mood to eat because of my tooth. And so I bought the $100 basketball, but the ratings on it were, it's a 10 out of 10 durability, 10 out of 10 feel, and it's a good basketball, so that was my logic for buying it.
Yeah, I could see myself buying a $100 basketball if I was in a basketball.
And they got me with the Apple does the ladder tier technique where they get you with so you're buying the iPhone 15, and the iPhone 15 Pro is $100 more. Mm-hmm. You're like, why wouldn't I just get the Pro? Because it's got the better screen, it's got the better camera, and then they have the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it's $100 more.
Yep.
So they do this ladder tier technique.
Makes it feel like you're only spending $20, even though you're spending $100.
Yeah, exactly. And they get you with the ladder technique, and in this case, it's a 2-tier system. So it's either like you get this kind of good ball that you got to break in a lot, or you get the great ball that you really don't have to break in, and you get to look like the coolest guy because it's an orange ball. And I like basketballs that are orange. For some reason, it takes me off. The regular Evo is like a brown. It's like a brown ball. It looks like more natural leather, even though it's not. There's no leather basketball. And then there's this one's like a bright orange ball, and I'm like, I love the orange. I can't get away from the orange. It's like original. It's super sick. And so yeah, they got me with the ladder technique, but I only spent $20. It's $20 more. So
yeah, it's pretty much only spent $20 on a basketball. I like that.
So yeah, that was my logic for buying it, and now I don't have to ask for their basketballs. Sometimes, it's a 1 in 5 chance you get their old ball at the gym, and the old ball is like an egg. It's an egg shape, so sometimes I don't even get a good experience.
So you bounce it and it goes random directions.
Yeah, it's a weird ball. You get a weird palm on it, and then some of the other balls are like the composite material's like flying off of it, and so I just wanted my own ball, like, for when they're not at the desk or whatever. It's just an easier experience overall. I think I'm gonna have that ball for years and years. So I think it was okay.
So they last a long time.
Yeah, they last an incredibly long time.
Interesting.
Incredibly long time.
I had a basketball. It had the Chicago Bulls on it. I got it at some camp I went to, and I think that I was trying to see how much air I could fit in it, and it blew up. It put like a little like bubble came out of the side of it through the like seam, and then
yeah.
it was one of those the ones that you hit the ground with it and it goes tink tink.
Yeah,
tink.
that's the outdoor pour ball.
Yeah, I had that. I had one, and it was great. I had such a good time with it. I threw it at all kinds of stuff, and then I blew it up too much.
The inflation on the sports equipment is so high right now. Everything like the original, the Wilson Evo balls that are $80 now, they used to be $60, just out the door $60. And I remember I always wanted that ball. And then I went there. I was like, I was gonna buy that ball. I was going in there to buy that ball, and I was like $60. Okay, I can deal with that. And then I saw it was $80 now, and I went on Amazon, and it was $80. It's the same price.
Dang.
And so I was like, God, I could have walked away from the deal, but again, I went in with the mindset where I'm like, I want a ball, I need a ball.
Man, so you came in and you were like, oh man, $80 is way too high. I know what I'll do. Spend $100.
Yep. I was like, $80 is too high for that ball.
You're saying it was featureless, pretty much featureless.
Yeah, it's a really good indoor ball.
Okay.
But it's not the best indoor ball. And you know how I am. I get the best.
Yeah.
I get the best.
Yeah. I've got that with I don't like when there's small versions of stuff and you can get the big.
Yeah, that's exactly if you want the best. I mean, at least for my mindset, it's always like it's the buy once, cry once mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got into pickleball, I bought the best paddle I could buy. So I don't spend $100 and I'm like, I'm not super happy with this paddle, and then go out and buy a better one. And now I'm $350 in the hole instead of $250 in the hole. That's how I think about these things. I'm like, just buy it once, save up a little more than if you were gonna buy the lower tier one. And I bought the lower tier stuff before, but I'm never super happy because I know in the back of my mind I know it's out there.
Yeah, I have that same thing. I don't like to buy crappy stuff because it's another thing you got to deal with.
I know. I'm obsessed with craftsmanship. I love good craftsmanship. That's why I like cigars so much, is because they're hand rolled. The flavors are they're so good. And they're just like a handcrafted item. It's just beautiful. And when you pay the price, you're gonna get a handcrafted item. Usually, unless it's the Wilson Evo NXT ball. It's not a handcrafted. It's made in China. By the way, that $100 ball is made in China. That is kind of crazy to me.
Everything's made in freaking China. Everything. It's like so hard to find. I mean, I went on this rant a couple episodes ago where I was like, if I can find something made in America, I'll spend a little bit more to get that, and then just have less stuff but more quality stuff.
Oh, 100%.
And then so I bought those hammers that I found that were made in America. I was very excited to find them. And I almost bought from a bigger, better known brand. It might even be a better product. I don't even know. But they were made overseas, and I was just like, I want to support people who are building stuff here.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I can spend a little bit more money, but it's going to somebody here instead of going overseas, I will do that.
Yeah, easily. That's what I bought a seat for my motorcycle, and there's like some Cheese Monkey $500 seats that are obviously made overseas. They're not super transparent with where they're made at the time, but once you get them, you get to see where they're made. So it was either like $500 for like kind of a Cheese Monkey seat, or I got this custom made Corbin seat made to my inseam for $700, and it was made on the West Coast, and it was made to order. You order it and they build it for you in their factory. Or whatever.
And you basically only spent $200.
Only $200. But that's the craftsmanship that I'm looking for. I'm like, I don't want just a tacked together piece of leather, whatever. I want it handmade.
And what are you just gonna blow your $500 right out of the country? No. You're gonna blow it over to the West Coast where they'll blow it back, and you're just constantly blowing each other with money.
It's a blow off. That's what it is. It's a blow off. It's a total blow off. And if everyone blew each other, then the world would be a better place. Let me tell you what.
I think I couldn't have said that better.
Oh my gosh! So it's hard for me to be honest with you guys out there because this show goes out to my closest people, and they listen to it and they come back every week, and sometimes I get embarrassed about what I say. But a few weeks ago, I was dead set on finding a girlfriend. I was like, I'm going in. I was shopping around online for one. I found no handmade quality goods. Just ridiculous people out there on the internet. So instead of finding a girlfriend, I made a riddle.
It's a common choice.
So instead of finding a girlfriend, I decided to take the time that I would have found a girlfriend in and make a riddle about how I'm feeling in song title names. And I want you to try to figure it out, okay?
Okay, I'm a little confused as what you're saying, but I'll try and go with it.
So it's a list of song title names, kind of how I'm feeling, and you kind of have to decipher them in riddle form. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's try.
Okay, so I'm gonna rattle them off. You gotta keep it. You gotta keep your head on a swivel here.
Okay.
What hurts the most, Rascal Flatts? Hurt, Johnny Cash. I hate everything about you, 3 Days Grace. Fine Again, Seether. Someone Like You, Adele. Lips of an Angel, Hinder. Fighter, Christina Aguilera. Break Your Heart, Teo Cruz. Through the Fire and the Flames, Dragon Force. Mask Off by Future. Revenge, XXXTentacion. All Girls Are the Same, Juice WRLD. And Levitating by DaBaby.
To me, it sounds like the 5 stages of grief. You're grieving a lady, maybe, and you want to get to the point where you are levitating. And I think that probably the Fire and the Flames has to do mostly with pickleball, but I think that there might be some references to the ladies as well in there.
It's a long song.
Yeah, and then, man, you start off really hurt. There's a lot of various hurts, and then you get to the that's the craziest reaction. Start off really hurt, and then you get to the point where there's just so much to unpack here, really.
Someone like you. You know what I'm saying?
I think that I know exactly what you're saying.
So if you guys, the audience, can decipher that riddle, please put it in the comments below. That would be great because I'm having trouble deciphering it myself.
Yeah, and that is funny because I do think I know exactly where that's coming from. And I think it's funny.
You know where it's coming from?
Yeah, I think I know what you were thinking when you were making that, and I think it's really funny. But I do want the audience to I want to hear what they think that means.
And again, I won't rattle off the names of the bands or the artists.
Yeah,
I'll
just do the names.
What hurts the most? Hurt. I hate everything about you. Fine Again. Someone Like You. Lips of an Angel. Fighter. Break Your Heart. Through the Fire and the Flames. Mask Off. Revenge. All Girls Are the Same. Levitating. Now see if you can decipher that in the comments below.
I love that Mask Off is in there. I think that's just so funny. You're going from like Seether to Future, and it's just such a crazy jump.
And ending it off with DaBaby. Yeah. That's kind of where we're at now. It's a chronological timeline riddle. So it started at the beginning of my journey when I looked for a woman for about 3 hours, and then I decided instead of looking for one, I'm going to do a song a day about how I feel, and we ended it off with Levitating. So see if you can decipher where I'm at.
Oh my gosh, that's a good one.
And I'm gonna keep adding to it. I'm gonna keep adding to the list. So in a few weeks I'll be back, and the list will be way longer, and the riddle will go on. There might be soundtracks in there at some point. I'm not sure. But I was gonna put in "Now We Are Free" by Hans Zimmer in there, but I decided not to.
Mm-hmm.
At some point.
I hurt myself today.
Surprisingly, though, REM's "Hurt" is not in there, which is interesting.
That would be funny if it was. What is it? What's the first song? Hurt myself.
It is "What Hurts the Most" by Rascal Flatts.
Yeah, you go from what hurts the most to hurt. You can't go back to hurt again.
And then it goes "Hurt" to "I Hate Everything About You."
Yeah, I like that one.
And then "Fine Again." Seether.
Hey. Fine Again.
And then "Someone Like You" by Adele, which that's a deep song. You guys, that's going to be I think that's going to be the kicker on the riddle is "Someone Like You" by Adele, because that's a real deep song. "Lips of an Angel" is not deep. You'll be able to figure that one out. And then "Fighter" by Christina Aguilera. I'm a fighter.
Yeah.
You know how it goes. The Teo Cruz one was crazy. That day was insane. That day was.
Which one is that?
I'm only gonna break.
Oh yeah. So these are every single day. This is what you're just picking a song that represents the day, as far as your romantic journey.
As far as my romantic journey, it's kind of a chronological. It's basically like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. How I feel inside. It's a battle between good and evil, and I'm good, and the women are evil, and I'm kind of going to war with them, and
they have no idea, which is crazy.
They have no idea. So that's how it's going with me. We're levitating.
Is that today, levitating?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's today.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Feeling so sick today. I'm feeling so awesome.
So are you done with your anger then, or is that kind of diminished, or is that anger still kind of sitting around? Because you were angry a couple of weeks ago. You were talking about how angry you were, and we couldn't figure out if it was just because of the pickleball or if it was something else. And
the anger for the most part has subsided. I've replaced the anger with shopping. I've been doing a lot of shopping.
Oh, that's good.
And just buying stuff in replace of the anger. But I'm getting all made to order things, so it's making me angry that I have to wait so long for them. But yeah, I'm not as angry anymore. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling alive after I bought that basketball. Just have been playing some basketball, and I've been feeling really, really, really good. The anger is no longer. Everything's pretty good in my world. The sun's starting to come out. The pollen just started dropping. Who the frick knows what's going to go down in the next couple weeks, so.
Yeah, and March 21st is the first day of spring. We're not even technically in spring yet, and the pollen is everywhere. It's insane.
Yeah.
I've been sniffling up a storm. I've been sneezing on people by accident. I laughed the other day and had a little snot come out, and luckily I don't think anybody saw, but I noticed it, and I quickly took care of it, but
yep,
I don't like the pollen season at all.
We're a month early on the pollen. Not good for the program. We all thought global warming was not real, and now it's so real.
And now it's here.
It's so real.
And we have
the
to
almanac called for a monstrous snowstorm, which never happened and never even got that cold.
No, there was like the one cold time where it got cold.
There was like one cold time where it got cold.
Remember it got like to like maybe 16 degrees at one night, and then that was it.
That was it. I rode the motorcycle all through winter. I maybe had like a 2-week break.
Yeah, there was no real putting them away.
There was no putting them away. Yeah. There was one cold ride that we did that we talked about. That was freezing. But that was just the length of the trip. That wasn't
Yeah.
that wasn't the weather. That was all on us, actually.
Yeah, I do have to say that I'm so ready for the weather to warm up. I'm so excited. I always used to say I like the cold weather because I thought it was just kind of a cool thing to say. I think that I gaslit myself into believing that I liked the cold weather, but I truly don't. I truly like it just to be hot and sunny.
Hot and sunny is thebomb.com. I already got a little bit burnt a couple weeks ago, and I'm now starting to tan up. I got the oil out. I'm ready to rock, baby.
Yeah, and I just keep burning all through the summer. I don't really tan, but I don't even care. It's just peel red, peel red, peel red, peel red, white, peel red, white. Peel
Well,
red, white.
tanning's a mindset.
Yeah, I'm tan in my mind, if that's what you're saying. Not because I am. I'm tan in my mind.
Oh, you got to see the doctor then if you got tan mind. That's what I heard, at least.
Yeah, well,
You got rigor mortis of the brain.
I guess you could say that. You could say that. Oh, what else? What else happened over this past week? I'm gonna say not much besides the crazy sale to the vintage motorcycle.
Crazy sale to the vintage motorcycle. We gave Tyler some sales advice. He took the advice. Sold immediately for
Immediately
for
sold.
full price.
For full asking price. I was like, right before the guy came, I was like, okay, but if he offers me $2,500 or more, he's got it. Which is way less than I wanted for the bike, but I was like, I need this bike gone. I've already had like 2 other people come look at it. I just don't like it anymore. I mean, I like it, but you know what I'm saying. And then, so $2,500 is my number in my head. The bike's listed for $3,400, so $900 more than my bottom dollar. So I've got a lot of wiggle room to work with. And the dude just like starts it up, revs a little bit. He's like, man, I'll take it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah. I almost started negotiating with him, negotiating down. Like,
it's freaking awesome. That's what I'm talking about. Only tell them what they want to know.
Yeah, that was your advice, in which I kind of didn't even think about it like that. Is you're like, don't add any information about what you did to the bike, because then people are going to be like, oh, this moron has been working on this bike and I have no idea about this guy, so I don't want this bike because it needed all this work or whatever. And instead, they just get there and they know nothing about it, and they tell themselves their own story about the bike versus me telling them everything about it and everything that went wrong with it. And my issue is, I'm working on these bikes. I'm going through the whole bike, so I know literally everything that's wrong with them. And if they ask me what's wrong with it, my knee-jerk reaction is be like, and then just like pick apart everything that could be like potentially be wrong with it. Where like it's really nothing's bad. It's just me like knowing all the little details.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't be dishonest with the person, but at least in the ad of what you want to sell, you're honest with the condition of the bike and whether it runs or not. And that's basically all you put. The year runs or not, I've had it for this long. Uh-huh. That's about all they need to know. The trick is to get them to your house, and then you answer all their questions honestly, but you don't have to tell them, hey, I bought this bike out of a barn somewhere. It wasn't running. I ripped it apart. I did all this, or like, and then they start thinking, oh, it's old. The seals need to be done. Whatever. It's been sitting for so long, and this guy that I don't know and I don't trust ripped this bike apart and put it back together, and now it's running somehow.
Yeah.
They don't have that trust, especially with a stranger. At least with me, it's like I don't trust anyone I'm buying a bike from. I have to go on what I see and what I hear, and that's it.
Yeah.
And if this guy starts telling me, I just had the engine out, I did all the service, I'm like, did you do it right? That means I'm gonna have to take it out and look at it again, and stuff like that. So it's like you be honest with the buyer, but you only tell them what they really want to know. At the end of the day, it's like if they ask you, you're honest. It's like, how long have you had the bike? I've had it for this long. Where'd you find it? And usually they never ask you where you found it or why you bought it, blah blah, how
Mhm.
much you bought it, whatever. It's like you're just trying to get it gone.
Yeah.
At the end of it, you're trying to make money. This is a business.
It is a business. Just got to make the money. Just got to make the sale.
Yeah.
I'm not a good sales guy yet, but I will be.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, I will be.
You will be.
I'm working on it.
You totally will be.
I'm a good buyer guy for the most part. I do get a little trigger happy sometimes, and if I get worried I'm going to lose the deal, I won't go low enough. And it was a good lesson, I think, to learn that I had already decided on my bottom dollar, and this guy overpaid by $900 yesterday to me. Because literally, he could have just said, would you take 25? And I would have probably just been like, yes. And instead, he just said, I'll give you 34.
Yeah, he did. He just said, I've actually never seen, I've had a couple sales like that, but I've never had just like, I'll take it.
I'll take it. Yeah, it was crazy.
I've had people offer me some and I'm like, I'm not moving.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. But yeah, the trick on Facebook is actually getting the people to your house, because these people will send you offers all day over text.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm not negotiating against myself here.
Yeah.
It's like you have to come and see me. Like when people, I hate it because sometimes I'll do it where these people you'll have something up for say $3,000
Mm-hmm.
and they say, will you do 28? And you're just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And you say yes, and somehow you just like negotiate against yourself for no reason, and just tacked off $200 for no reason. They haven't even seen the bike.
That's
you,
true.
You haven't
yeah,
talked to them.
yeah.
There's no reason that you should say yes. The answer to that, to an offer, should be, come look at it and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And then once they get there and their dopamine's running because they're like, oh, look at that bike. It's freaking cool. And then they're like, well, would you do 28? You're like, nah, I don't, it's a really nice bike. I don't think I could go that low. And they're like, fine. Okay.
Uh-huh.
At least that's what I've accumulated from all my Facebook sales. You need to get them there.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get them there first.
That's the hardest part. And you get, I hate sell. The worst part about selling is like just the people sending you moronic messages or like rude messages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like somebody just messaged me and said to the other bike and was just like, it looks horrible. And I was like, I didn't even respond. I was like, all right, like I didn't send it to you. You're the one who clicked on it and started looking at it. You don't have to buy it.
No, you don't have to buy it. People, I don't know why people do that. They used to not do that on Craigslist when that was a thing, because Craigslist was so hard to get a hold of people.
It was, yeah.
It was so hard to get a hold of people. Now you have the instant messenger system, and you can just, Facebook has the button where they just like have the three options where you're like, is this available? Is this available? Whatever. And they can just say whatever they want and move on.
Yeah. That's the is this available messages get so old because it gets you excited. You're like, oh, somebody's looking at it, and nobody, like, the chance that they're gonna send another message after you say is this available is like insanely low.
Yeah,
it's like 1%.
Yeah, whenever I default that message to people, it's like I want the item, but I don't really want the item. Yeah. It's like I could make a couple bucks off it, and if they reply, that's cool. But I'm not super invested, and that's how I take when they message me, is this item still available? That's how I take it. It's like they're not really interested. They just want to maybe lowball me or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the marketplace, the used marketplace is a really funny place. You meet some really weird characters on there.
Yeah, you do.
That's why we're carrying weapons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because these people, they come out of the dang woodwork. They come out of the woodwork, dude.
Yeah, they
Some
show
of them
up, you
crawl
have
out of
no
their
idea.
goddamn coffin, I swear to God. The morgue gets up and just walks over to your house. Holy moly.
I sold that lawnmower the other day. Sold a lawnmower, and this dude came to get it, and he looked like he just kicked crack. Like, wasn't on it, but was yesterday. And he like brings his trailer up, and he's kind of like stops in front of the house, and then I'm thinking he's gonna swing the trailer into the driveway, and then he doesn't do that. He just like spastically starts driving again, a little too fast, and he turns into the neighbor's driveway and then starts backing out like it looked fine for a second, and then the trailer starts going really wonky, and he gets really close to the mailbox, and everything's like wrong at this point. So he pulls forward again, tries it again, same exact situation happens. So he pulls forward one more time, and at this point, I mean, he's been there for like 2 minutes just trying to get this trailer out, and he's like thinks about it for a while and then does the worst possible move, and eventually he completely jackknifes it. Like, I hear it hit the truck, and then he just gasses it in reverse and pushes the trailer sideways out of this guy's driveway.
Oh my god.
And then he goes down, like, because he backed out the wrong way even with it jackknifed, so he has to go down and turn around somewhere else. I didn't even watch him turn around the other place because I couldn't watch anymore. And then he's like he's on his way back over to the house. I'm standing outside, and he's hanging out of his window saying something to me, like, and he starts talking when he's just out of earshot. So I don't know how he started it, but all I heard at the end was like, he was like, I can't believe they went back to trailer like that. And I was like, dude, everyone has to learn somehow or something like that. And he was so weird. Then he just smoked 2 cigarettes while he was there for like 5 minutes.
Couldn't believe it. I walked up on the end of that situation. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
This guy is weird.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. So I think that's all I got for this week, guys.
I reckon, I could spitball for another couple hours, but I really have to use the bathroom. But that's it.
Okay, very good. All right, see you guys next week. Make sure you subscribe because we are Shadow Band.
Live fit, live well.